This trading week, all eyes are on the official employment data in the United States. Traders have already got to know revised manufacturing PMIs in the United States and the European Union for May. According to the final data, the Eurozone's manufacturing sector looked lower than expected activity, whereas the US manufacturing PMI proved robust production activity. The latter aroused concerns among investors, cementing fears about too high inflationary pressure. Although the US Fed stated that the federal funds rate would not be raised ahead of schedule, investors are unnerved by runaway inflation and the likelihood that the US Central Bank could revise its stance on monetary policy very soon. On Thursday, the markets are anticipating final services PMIs on advanced economies. The flash estimates looked the strongest expansion of the service sector in the Eurozone since June 2018. The fact that business activity is gaining momentum and demand is growing feeds hopes for a rapid economic recovery in Europe. Such information should reinforce support for the euro, which has already advanced amid a successful vaccination campaign. Notably, this factor enabled the authorities of the EU countries to agree that vaccinated citizens would be released from restrictions starting from July 1st. At the same time, we should not neglect the demand for the US currency. On Thursday, the Institute for Supply Management is due to post the non-manufacturing PMI. The consensus suggests that business activity in the US service sector has been expanding at the highest rates since the Institute launched such surveys. Judging by the market's response to the manufacturing PMI, the ADP Services PMI will be viewed as another precursor of further rampant inflation. The US dollar is likely to appreciate in response as a safe haven asset. This week, traders are focused on a crucial report which is seen as a barometer of the US economy. Employment data is also closely monitored by the monetary authorities. On Thursday, ADP report will shed light on trends in the US private sector employment. In April, the domestic economy added fewer jobs than expected. Nevertheless, a recovery in the US labor market is picking up steam amid a brisk pace of mass vaccination, removal of restrictions on businesses in many states across the country, and the government stimulus package worth $1.9 trillion. A revival of the labor market could have slowed down in May. Meanwhile, weekly jobless claims have moderated the pace of decline. The number of initial claims for unemployment benefits is expected to decrease slightly to 400,000 in the week ended May 29. 4,000 down from the score in the previous week. Besides, the number of continuing unemployment claims could have contracted just 27,000 last week. This information may raise doubts about robust hiring in the United States. On Friday, traders will find out government data on the US labor market. The Labor Department will provide data on employment in the public and private sectors. Last month, market participants were caught off guard as the actual employment in April was way below the consensus. Commenting on the previous report, experts noted that employers had encountered such troubles as lack of qualified workers and disruption in deliveries of spare parts and materials. This could overshadow employment in the short term. Some analysts also reckon that people provided with generous unemployment benefits prefer to stay home and avoid looking for a job. With these considerations, the actual employment growth in May could be again much weaker than expected. In addition, don't miss other important reports and events which are due on Friday. Policymakers of the US Fed and the ECB will take part in the Green Swan Conference, hosted by the Bank of International Settlements, the Bank of France, the International Monetary Fund, and the Network for Greening the Financial System. During their discussions, they could drop hints about further moves on monetary policy by influential central banks. Traders speculating on the Canadian dollar will take into account data on Canada's labor market for May. You are watching Forex Trader Calendar on InstaForex TV channel with me, Kate Tikhina. We wish you profitable deals and have a nice trading with InstaForex.